Hey, have you ever tried to identify foolishness, or how do you define a fool? This is Walk and Talk 230, October 24th. It's about 5:30 a.m. Finally in Mesa, Arizona. It's much cooler. It's not 95 in the morning. It's not 85. It's not 75. It's in the low 70s. It's just beautiful. I'm encouraging you not to be a fool. I'm going to explain from the Bible the sound of a fool, what a fool does with knowledge, and then the actions of a fool. In this Walk and Talk, we will unmask the fool. We will show you what a fool looks like. In this Walk and Talk 230, the goal from Proverbs 9:13 is to help you, to help me not be foolish. So first off, the Bible says in Proverbs 9:13, foolishness is boisterous. In other words, loud. Or someone could even say verbally aggressive, verbally loud. A fool is boisterous, loud. In the context of Proverbs 9:13, the Bible is simply saying that the fool does not control the volume of their speech. I'm encouraging you to be careful when you speak. Be careful when you converse, when you communicate, with the volume, the loudness of your voice. Many times we watch a shouting match or people getting verbally destructive. Oftentimes in today's culture, we call this verbal abuse. Boisterous. The fool is loud. The Bible says in Proverbs 9 verse 13, that the fool lacks understanding. Foolishness is the lack of understanding. Often that's referred to as empty-headed. Lacking understanding is basically no common sense, can't figure things out. You probably have been in a situation where you did not understand. There was this absence of connecting the dots, knowledge. So foolishness is loud, it's boisterous, and foolishness lacks understanding, this inability to logically connect things, to 1 + 1 = 1. And pretty much in most situations, 1 + 1 always equals 1. No, 1 + 1 always equals 2. In this Walk and Talk, I'm encouraging you not to be foolish, how to unmask a fool. And a fool sounds loud, boisterous. A fool lacks understanding, struggles seeing cause and effect, struggles seeing consequences. A fool lacks understanding. They have this inability they just cannot connect the dots. In Proverbs chapter 9, verse 13, foolishness says knows nothing. In other words, not only are they lacking in understanding, but it says they know, a fool knows nothing. Now the idea is basically nothing of value. Their knowledge is very shallow. The facts, their ability to logically coordinate is on a scale of 1 to 100. The knowledge base is like 1% or 0%. So when it says the fool knows nothing, they're just simply lacking in foundational knowledge. I'm encouraging you in this walk and talk. That as you live your life, don't be foolish. And what is a fool? A fool is a person who's loud and lacks understanding. They can't connect the dots, and their knowledge base is very, very thin. From a practical point of view, foolishness in the Bible is the opposite of wisdom. And the Bible would encourage you to be wise, not a fool. So if foolishness is loud, then wisdom is not. So wisdom is soft, not loud in volume. Wisdom doesn't have to shout. Wisdom is basically your words and your conversation are under control. There's not a reason to escalate or turn up the volume when you talk. I'm encouraging you in this walk and talk, October 24th, walk and talk 2:30, to always check your volume. Always when you're talking, when you're conversing, always keep your conversation, the volume, the tone, the sound, keep it under control. Don't be boisterous. And then make sure that you are listening well and gathering the facts, and you can connect the dots, and there's a logic that you understand the world around you, that you understand, you comprehend the conversation, the facts. So remember, a fool has a lack of understanding. They're very shallow. They simply struggle connecting things. You can talk to some people and you might think they don't get it, or they're not understanding, or you watch their actions and you wonder, do they have any capacity to stay out of trouble? And then the third way to unmask a fool is to listen to their knowledge base. Proverbs chapter 9, verse 13 says, "A fool knows nothing." In other words, when they state something, it's factually inaccurate. So when people communicate, listen to see if they're accurate with their facts. It's easy to just say something that's inaccurate, that's not true. Make sure that the knowledge that you have is factual. Avoid the generalities. Sometimes you can say generally speaking, but if you're in a conversation, there's a need to be specific, a nuanced conversation. Listen well, don't be loud, and don't be flippant. Make sure that what comes out of your mouth, that you've done some thinking, some evaluating, that you're trying to make sure that you have figured out that you're saying is accurate, not inaccurate. I'm encouraging you in this walk and talk to be wise. Don't be foolish. You can define a fool, you can spot a fool when the volume is loud, when they lack understanding, they struggle connecting the dots, and that their knowledge base is very thin. In life, to manage your life, there has to be constantly building knowledge upon knowledge upon knowledge, facts upon facts. And if your knowledge base, if your capacity to know things is thin, then be quick to listen. Be slow to speak. Gather the facts. Make sure that you are an excellent listener. The fool will constantly be getting into problems. The fool will constantly come up short. I'm encouraging you in this walk and talk to use your capacity to communicate in a positive way. I'm saying that when you talk with people, turn the volume down, regulate. You don't have to shout. I'm encouraging you in this walk and talk that you can understand things, that you can have the ability to connect the dots. It will take time, but logically, you'll see the consequences. You'll see how things relate or interrelate. I'm encouraging you to build your knowledge base, listen, grow your facts. In this walk and talk, the Bible is simply saying, don't be foolish. In the verse, Proverbs 9:13, it's giving an example of a foolish woman. I'm encouraging you, male or female, to turn the volume down, lower the volume. Don't be loud and boisterous. I'm encouraging you to listen well and gain understanding. Connect the dots Make sure that you can see the cause and effect, the consequences as you are communicating with others. And then the third way to unmask a fool is their knowledge base. As is the words, the knowledge coming out of their mouth accurate? If inaccurate, then I'm just simply saying don't say it. Adjust inaccurate speech. Don't spin it. If it's not true, then don't let it come out of your mouth. In this walk and talk, don't be a fool. Manage the words in your mouth. Manage your speech. Make sure that you understand the importance of connecting the dots, of being wise, not a fool. If you're lacking in knowledge, just simply speak less and listen better. Ask questions. One of the most powerful things to do is to ask questions. Good morning. It is amazing when you think of the power of asking a question. Usually you'll get a response that will give you what I call a data point. When you ask a question, there's a response coming, and that's a data point. And then you ask another question, and that's another data point. Now you're moving to better understand. You're gathering data, information. You're in a better position to evaluate what's going on, the context, the situation. You're in a better position to be more accurate. You can dial in on the topic and hopefully be more helpful. In this walk and talk, I'm encouraging you, don't be a fool. You can define a fool. You can spot a fool. You can unmask a fool, according to Proverbs 9:13, in three ways. Number one, a fool is boisterous, loud, obnoxious. Their volume is up. A fool lacks understanding. They just have a very difficult time connecting the dots from the cause and effect, the consequences. And then the Bible says in Proverbs 9:13 that a fool knows nothing. Their knowledge of a given subject is empty. It's lacking. So I want to encourage you in this walk and talk, as you live your life, make sure that you listen well, that you ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask several questions, and gather as much information, data as you can, and avoid being the fool. Foolishness in the Bible, or the fool, is the opposite of wisdom. Wisdom is a reflection of God. Foolishness is just the opposite. The fool has problems connecting the dots. The fool has problems with their knowledge base. Their knowledge base is inaccurate. Their knowledge base is thin. They're not listening. You be patient. Be slow to speak and quick to listen. This is Walk and Talk 230. It's October 24th. Beautiful weather. It's 5 8:48, beautiful morning. Let me encourage you the importance of being wise. In some ways, life can get complicated. In some ways, there's different problems, there's different challenges, and typically problems in life multiply. And the more wise that you are, the less foolish you are, you're in a better position to manage everyday problems that tend to multiply. As problems multiply, a wise person can solve a problem before it multiplies. The fool is loud. Proverbs 9:13 says boisterous. The fool starts panicking, shouting. The fool can't connect the dots, lacks understanding, Proverbs 9:13, and knows nothing. They don't have a solution to their problem or the next problem or the next problem. And as problems grow, the fool is unable to minimize, to slow the problem. You've probably been in situations where you've heard it say, it got out of hand. It escalated. The fool is the escalator. The fool allows life's problems to multiply rather than make a decision that slows the problem down, slows the trouble down. The fool is advancing trouble, multiplying trouble. So according to Proverbs 9:13, if you want to spot a fool, make sure that you're not loud, that you're not obnoxious, that you're not boisterous, that you turn your volume down so you can spot the fool who is loud. Make sure that you understand, that you ask questions. Make sure that you can connect the dots. And when you can't understand, you ask more questions. And then make sure that you're always learning. Proverbs 9:13 says, the fool knows nothing. In other words, the fool has a very thin knowledge base. So sometimes admit that you don't know and that you need an expert. You need an expert opinion, and in some cases, a second one, a third one. It's always good to get wisdom. It's always good to get a second opinion or a third opinion. I'm encouraging you in this walk and talk. You can spot a fool. You can define a fool. And you don't want to be a fool. Every day is a gift from God. I was talking to a middle-aged man yesterday, and he commented how life was going by so fast, that he had these plans and things were moving fast and faster, and he was disappointed that things were not getting done. He wasn't accomplishing things like he liked. And then that afternoon, I got a text from that man, and he said one of his best friends just died unexpectedly. And he reflected on our conversation earlier in the day. Often we need to make sure that we don't take life too serious, and that we go slower and enjoy life. I'm encouraging you in this walk and talk. Be wise. Don't be loud with your voice. Turn the volume down. According to Proverbs 9:13, don't be boisterous. Don't be a fool. I'm encouraging you to go slower in your conversation, your speech, and make sure that you understand. And I'm encouraging you to gather your facts, according to Proverbs 9:13. You don't want to be the person that knows nothing. Gather your facts. How? By asking questions, and ask more questions, and until you get it, until it starts to click. Life, the life that God has given to you, given to me, was never meant not to be enjoyed. The life has problems, life has challenges, but you don't want to be the fool. You want to live by wisdom. This is Walk and Talk 230. This is October 24th. So it's a great morning. It's finally the cool weather has arrived in East Phoenix. I'm encouraging you to go to church and worship God. You're invited to our church this coming Sunday at 9:30 worship and 11 o'clock worship. You can take one of the Bible classes at 9:30 at 11 or at 8. We have an 8 o'clock Bible class for older individuals. We have children's programs, youth, teenagers, singles. We have co-ed. We have classes for all ages. I'm just encouraging you to be wise, encouraging you not to be a fool. You can call the church office, 480-839-0926, First Baptist Church, Tempe. You can go online to the church website, FBC-Tempe.org. Today's a great day. Blessings on you. Thanks.